Hey guys, welcome back to First Contact Outdoors. I'm Anthony. Today I'm going over the Total Archery Challenge. Before we get into it, please like and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. If you guys are interested in some content that I haven't created yet, let me know and I will review it, whether it's a review on some type of bow sight, bow, whatever it is, an archery experience, let me know and I'll check it out. So today, going over the Total Archery Challenge. This past weekend I went up to Seven Springs, Pennsylvania, and I did 3 days of shooting. It's a 4-day event, but there's a lot you can get done in just a day or two. There's a lot to shoot. You could be there all weekend, 4 days if you wanted, and still not cover everything. There's a lot going on up there. It is a lot of fun. It's probably the most fun I've ever had in an archery event. So the biggest advice I can tell you is make sure your bow is prepared. I took 2 bows. I took a backup bow. I took my PSE XF30, and then I took my Bowtech SR350. Both bows I was kind of, messing around with. I enjoyed them. I figured I'd see how I do. I did. So I ran into an issue. I made a rookie mistake. I did I kind of rushed through my sight tapes, got it, I thought it would be pretty good. And, lo and behold, I got out there, and the Total Archery Challenge will pull out any imperfection you have and any vulnerability you have in your shooting, and it will highlight it so well. It was really humbling, especially the knock-on course for me personally. Everybody has a different experience, but I shot the knock-on course, the Rmef course, which is the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, and then I shot the prime course, which is long range, a lot of long range shooting, higher elevations. Knock-on was super technical. Sometimes you had to aim at logs, you had to aim at grass, knowing your arrow was going to fly over it. Try to shoot these really technical shots through like these tiny gaps. There's trees, rocks, etc. So if your sight tape's a little off, you're gonna feel it. And I certainly felt it my first day. I lost a couple arrows, but you're able to go back to the range and adjust. But there's not a sight there for you to sight your bow in on a flat surface. This is what you need to do when you're creating your sight tape, because the range is usually set up at a very steep angle. So you're shooting at elevation, you're shooting maybe 100 yards straight up at an elk, and the range where you go to warm up. So it's not the best place to do a sight tape. You can get close, but it's not gonna be perfect. I experienced that. I was kind of guessing a little bit, lost a couple arrows. Leads me to my next point. I built my own arrows. This is a Gold Tip Hunter XT300. I went and got a bunch of cheaper arrows. I didn't want to use my super expensive arrows. And I did my own wrap and my own fletching on it, which I'm shooting a AAE Pro Max at a 3-degree left helical. I highly recommend, if you're going to do your own arrows and you plan on losing a couple, which I do, buy something that's, you won't feel too bad about losing a few, because there's a couple shots where I was like, I'm going to shoot 3 shots because this is a hard one and I don't care if I'm going to lose arrows. I'm really trying to, grow as an archer. This helped me a lot. Set your colors up so you can see them and find them, because you are going to miss some. You're going to bury them in the dirt, and you're going to want to be able to find your arrows. I found that the pink and green was a really easy combo to see. I was able to hit a buffalo at the prime course about 133 yards, and with just a pair of binos, you can see clear as day. So arrows, bring extra arrows. I took 4 dozen, and I lost. I was planning on losing quite a few. I was going to take some harder shots, and sometimes some spots sling, maybe 2-3 arrows if I had time, if I wasn't holding anybody up. So I had fun with it. I did lose a couple arrows, but it wasn't a big deal because I planned ahead for it. So like I said, I took about 4 dozen. I think I lost maybe 10 the whole time. Not too bad, right? The other thing you're going to need, most importantly, is binos and a rangefinder. You cannot do it without it. I'm using the Marsupial fully enclosed pack, and I've got a pair of Vortex 10x42s that a friend let me borrow. I still haven't gotten my own, but I love these. These are awesome. This was perfect. You have to have this, and I am using, I believe, a SIG. Yep, a SIG Kilo 14 BDX 5x20. You have to have this. I mean, you could have people with you that'll have these if you don't feel like carrying it, but the thing is, make sure you do your sight tape with the rangefinder you're going to use, because when we were up there, we would see that some people will get 58 yards, some people will get 60. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as your sight tape for your bow was created with your rangefinder. Otherwise, you're going to run into issues like I did. I switched my rangefinder out and my sight tape was a little bit off. So it is what it is. It's nothing you can't compensate for. I figured out that I was, if I was shooting at 80 yards, I'd, dial it back to about 77. And, as that got longer range, it was more, I'd have to compensate a little more or less if it was closer. So that leads me to my bow. I shot using my Bowtech SR350. I picked this up just because I wanted to try it out. Didn't get a lot of time behind the string beforehand. I mean, I got enough to, be relatively comfortable with it. But it was a great bow. I liked the taller axle bows. It was really stable. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed shooting with this bow. Not my favorite bow I've ever had, but it's definitely a really good bow. The biggest thing that I added while I was there, you're going to love the name, is the Jacked Gear Sling-a-Ling. Yeah, right? So it's this right here. It's a sling that goes around your bow, and it magnets right there, like that. So you can throw this over your shoulder, and you can carry it, because you're going to be doing some hiking. You're going to be doing some hiking through the woods. I know the Knock'em course and the Prime, there was a lot of hiking. And you were going up and down, and some spots were really muddy, so you wanted to kind of hold on trees. There's parts where you had to hold on to a rope to ascend or descend. So having a hand-free, being able to throw this over your shoulder like that was super helpful. I'll get to my pack in a little bit, but with this pack that I bought, I could throw this over my shoulder, and I could throw it, and I could, with this jack clip, I could hook this on right here, and now I'm hands-free. So this was one of those items that I had seen online that I thought was a little gimmicky, the name and the fact that it's made out of paracord, which is something that's really easy to get. Why couldn't I make my own? But you can. But there's built-in magnets here. I mean, it was, the name alone kind of pushed me to think it was a little gimmicky. But I put this through the ringer and really push the limits on it, and it was awesome. It didn't affect my shot being here. It was nice and tight. I mean, there was people that were picking theirs up at the Total Archery Challenge because Jack Gear is there. I mean, half the people there had the sling of some kind. I'd highly recommend it. The other thing is, if you're out west or if you're you're glassing, you can put this over your head and use this to help hold your binos, it was really nice. I didn't really use it for that at TAC, but if you're out west hunting, I could really see how it helps. All I know is that, I'm taking this off this bow, and I'm putting it onto my next bow for the Park City, Utah TAC event that my wife and I are going to. You can see I'm building her bow there that I'll be using my PSC at. So I'll give you reviews of that as well. So the next thing I'm going to go over is gear. I already told you about arrows. The other two things I picked up there that were super important was boots, a good pair of hiking boots. These are Crispies. I forget the model of them, but these are the Crispy boots, and there was a tent there that had Crispies, and I'd always heard they're great boots. I had picked up a pair of Keens that were from Bass Pro. They were light, they were nice and comfortable, but they weren't the most waterproof. And then when I got up there Thursday, it rained really, really bad for a little while. It really monsooned, and a lot of people got soaked, and then the courses got really muddy, and they stayed muddy and slowly dried over time. But had I had those boots, I would have been miserable. My feet would have been soaked. So a really good pair of broken-in hiking boots. Spend the money on them. You're going to need them. I mean, these, especially the Prime course. The Prime course was a lot of straight-up, straight-down hiking. And you'd shoot these long 100-yard, 120-yard shots, sometimes not quite as much. But, I mean, the elevation change was considerable. The next thing, which I'll go over everything I had in this, is a pack. I had a Camel Bag Pack that, it was good. It wasn't great. I mean, it was something I got, about a year ago, and it works for around here in Maryland for, whitetail hunting or just throwing some weight in and going and hiking and training. But I wanted something a little more comfortable. So I spent the money when I was there, and I got this Mystery Ranch pack. It's called the Pintler model. So I was able to throw my Camel Bag Pack in here. It's got little pockets in here to put your arrows and a bunch of little pockets on the inside right here along the edges. So what did I have in there? What did I need? What I did not need? Because that first day I put a bunch of stuff in here that it turns out I didn't really need, right? So the one thing I'll say that you need more than anything is water. You got to have water. You're going to be exercising, you're going to be hiking. Got to stay hydrated. Having a little bit of a little bottle in here of maybe some mixed in liquid IV or just a Pedialyte even. Have it in there. You'd be surprised. You're on the mountain, you are gonna hurt because it's, you know, if you're not hydrating enough, you're gonna cramp up. I mean, you're up there because it's always on like a ski lift or in the mountains or a ski resort or something like that, right? And the sun is really, you know, really gonna cook you up too. You won't realize quite how much fluid you're losing. The other thing is, what I have in here is some bars and crackers. Just something to put in your belly. Just, it helps, right? I mean, you're not going to be up there for more than like 4 or 5 hours. You know, that's, some of the longer courses, that's how long it takes. But, you know, you should have a little snack for while you're up there to keep you going a little bit. The next thing is your Allen wrenches. I took this Allen wrench set and a little bag of Allen wrenches of just some assorted sizes that I knew was on my bow that I would need. And I'm really glad I did, because when I was up there, I had the Hamskea Epsilon I have on my bow right here. This little rubber part right here, this fell off. It just got loose and it fell off. No big deal. I was able to put it back on, but I couldn't do it with the Allens that were in this because these didn't stick out far enough, and I had to go from underneath and kind of underneath through the riser at an angle. So I was really glad I had these up here, which I threw a couple of those in the bag, and I was able to get it put together. The other thing is that the bolt attaching my Bee Stinger quick release over here to the riser, that came loose as well. So these things, when you're hiking around and you know you're putting the miles on your bow and you're taking a lot of shots, things are going to come loose. Make sure you have your Allens. It's gonna be super critical. If you can, even, I would say bring some D-loop material, an extra D-loop material. I use the Hamskea Epsilon, which is pretty much D-loop material. This can double as D-loop, right? I leave this a little bit long in case, worst case scenario, I can make myself a quick D-loop and get by with it. Maybe bring a lighter too. You're gonna need that for making a D-loop. But you know, you'll figure it out, but it's always good to have. The other thing within my pack is I would have maybe a $2 or $3 or whatever, I don't even know what they cost anymore, but a rain jacket or a poncho. I didn't bring a rain jacket, I didn't really care, but a poncho would be cool. I mean, I knew the weather was going to be pretty clear. I took that gamble. You know, some people did too, and on Thursday they got soaked. So a poncho is going to be nice to take. The guys at TAC, they were telling me that every event they have, it rains at some point. So, you know, if you want to get wet, go for it. Me, it doesn't bother me too much, but I mean, the people that were on the course on Thursday at the Seven Springs event got soaked. So it's good to throw like a little poncho in here. Not going to be too much weight. The next thing is bring a long sleeve. I like the Forloh gear. I picked up 3 Forloh shirts. Forloh. For the Love of Hunting is the brand. They saved me. They are super thin, super comfortable. I got cooked, and I have a mean farmer's tan right now because that first day I was out there, I got cooked in a t-shirt, and it got even hotter, and I was exposed to the sun because as you go up on the mountain, I mean, it's just going to bake you, right? And you got to take ski lifts up there and down. It's a whole thing. So make sure you have some light long sleeve gear, and if you don't, bring sunscreen. Absolutely bring sunscreen. You're going to need it. I hate the feeling of sunscreen personally. Same with bug spray, which I recommend that as well, which we'll go over. But that's why I chose to do like a nice light long sleeve shirt, and it had a little hood on it so I could throw it up over the back, and it wasn't too hot. But the next thing is sunscreen and bug spray. Or in my case, I use a Thermacell. But I had the bug spray too. I just hit it all over my bag and threw and sprayed some tick spray or permethrin, whatever it is, on my boots. So that's something that can be worried about if it's going to be real hot and clammy. You're going to get the bugs in your face. It's going to be annoying. So you know, I was strapping a Thermacell to this somewhere up here, and you know, I was fine. I didn't have a big issue with it. The other thing with your pack is you're going to need arrows and a place to hold them. I was able to buy this up there. This tube, it's just an arrow tube, and I just threw it in the side pocket here. You don't need a bag this big. I did just because I had some camera gear with me and I had a bunch of other things. I had extra releases. I had my release right here. I had a couple extra releases in there, you know, all the Allens. I wanted the bigger bag to have it, but I found that, you know, as time went on, I didn't need quite so much of the stuff that I thought I did. But you definitely want something to hold your arrows. I know a lot of people were thinking about, what I was thinking about is switching to the Marsupial Backpack that attaches right to this. They have that little backpack that'll hold your camel bag and it'll hold some arrows. And then you can throw a couple, couple Allens in it and you're almost good to go. It just depends on the course and what you really want to take. So it was an awesome event. Did a lot of shooting. So I'll tell you, the knock-on course was very technical. I mean, each person got challenged in their own way by different courses. Knock-on challenged me a lot because my sight tape was off and I was guessing. But that's hunting, that's hunting and shooting. If you're not fully 100% prepared, which, I made a mistake and I wasn't 100%, it'll get you. You'll see it and you'll lose a couple arrows. So make sure you bring extra arrows. There's some hiking. There's some really technical shots in there. We got to see Dudley, talk with him, hang out with him. He was hanging out with everybody, taking photos, and he was shooting with us even, which is super cool. So be prepared for that. If you show up to the knock-on course and your knock time is, early to around 12, because then he'll head on down to the vendor village. So the prime course was long range shots, very high changes in elevation, super high angles up, down, and there's always rocks around these targets. It seems to be. And that's for every course. They make them really challenging. But it was fun still. And then the Rmef course, which is the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, you're shooting at elk targets. Some of the elk targets are even small and they're in the woods, and they're tucked behind things. There's rocks, they're in the rocks. Then other times they're out in the open and it's a 122-yard shot, slightly downhill, and there's in a spot where the wind is cooking through there. You're pretty much having to hold high left at the antlers. Or it changes depending on each person. We noticed that there was a lot of females up there that were shooting with the guys, and they could shoot those long distances, but some of them weren't able to, and that's cool. It's open for everybody. Everybody was super welcoming. You just, if you want to take somebody with you that is not shooting quite so long distance, you're able to shoot your shots, and then you go up to the distance that you're comfortable shooting at, and you walk up and you shoot. I noticed that nobody was pushing anybody. It's not like I experienced with golf where people were trying to play through, or people would get irritated if you were holding them up. Yeah, it's not ideal, but we're all there to have fun, and those rests, in between, if you were waiting for somebody, not a big deal. Helps you stay fresh. So you're able to shoot, and then each course, is different. Some take, around like 3 hours. Some will take like 4 hours. The Rmef course, for me, didn't take too long. I mean, that was like 3 hours, if that. And the prime course took about 5. Knock-on took about 5. You can get 2 courses in each day if you get early enough knock time. I would say, it'd be my opinion, only sign up for knock times early in the morning, because at 1 o'clock you can hang out and hit 1 o'clock. You can hit any ski lift you want or any bus you want and go shoot any course, regardless of knock time. Everything opens up at 1. So if there's a course you didn't sign up for, you're like, I got a little more gas in my tank. Let's go hit another course. At 1 o'clock, you can go and hit anything you want, whether you signed up for it or not. So that's really cool. When you get there, you should go straight to Vendor Village and sign up. So when you check in. So you check in, you're just going to basically sign a document, hand them a document. They're going to give you your stickers, a shirt if you've got one. You can purchase other swag there, the shirts, hats for the Total Archery Challenge. And then you get a little wristband, and the wristband actually goes on the riser of your bow. So make sure you put that on, you don't lose it, because that's going to have your knock times. And then when your knock time's up, when I was at Seven Springs, you would go and hit the ski lift. For that particular one, there'd be a little sign out front around your knock time. You could go warm up beforehand, hang out at Vendor Village. The other thing is Vendor Village is really cool because you get exposed to a lot of these up-and-coming companies that have everything you need, to shoot up there. They will help you. I know Lancaster Archery was up there with they had a whole huge booth set up, and they were helping people who had their strings had blown up, they needed more arrows. They needed they needed a tube, they had some packs, they had some, some binos, some harnesses. I mean, there was, Kafaru, PSE, Knock-On, the Trophy Line and Red Line guys. They're fun dudes. Check them out. Got a little fun game with them. If you go there, go wear a tethered hat and go see them. They're gonna take it from you and give you a different hat, which it's pretty funny. Tell them I sent you. But they've got they're letting you try out their innovative gear that isn't even on the market yet. I know Trophy Line, I got to try out a saddle, a pack, a bino pack, backpack. None of this stuff was hitting the market yet, and it was all going to change the game of saddle hunting. I mean, it was wild. And they're really cool stuff. And then you can check out the Jacked Gear Slingling. And I actually got a business card from them, my own business card that has an RF chip in it, and you just tap it to somebody's phone, and it's basically a Facebook for hunters and bow hunters, and it has all your contact information. It's super cool. There's all kinds of stuff up there. And around, I think it's about 1:30, maybe between 1:30 and 3:30, Dudley comes around. He'll be at the knock-on booth. He's always talking to people and like giving pointers and tips. That guy, I can't say enough things about him. You can see on our First Contact Outdoors page. He took the time, and I did a video with him. He took the time to make a video with me, and I got a chance to talk to him, for a good bit. And he was doing that with everybody out there. I've never seen an ambassador of the sport that will sit there and talk to everybody and go over, a video of your shot progression and all this and give you pointers and just take the time to see everybody. He's the, and he put on a lot of the course, a lot of the, Total Archery challenges, created by him, specifically the knock-on course. So it was really cool. And then the evening time, there's always a restaurant, everybody will go there and you can have beers after the fact, and everybody's hanging out, mingling. But also Vendor Village around 5:30, all the vendors, they just start passing out beer. They have beer there, and you get to go check out their booth, tell you about what's new coming out. I know the one that I am most excited about is Dialed Archery. They have a bow sight that I can't get over. I think it's going to change the game. It's going to make everything a little bit obsolete. Multiple sight tapes. That bar on it, the bar on the roller sight actually rolls closer towards you, so you're going to get an extra like 20-30 yards out of your sight tape and your sight. It's super, super cool. If you need a new harness, you need a new pack, it's all there for you. If you need your bow tuned, you go over to Lancaster Archery booth, it's there. There's other smaller vendors that are going to be there that are more local to the area. I know I checked out, I think Legacy Archery, I have their sticker over here, that we actually shot with those guys on the knock-on course the first day. That's where I bought my some new red line stabilizers, but I was able to go over there and, you can get some arrows, whether you're hunting with them, shooting for tack. There's always discounts there, right? And then I know I got my 4-low gear there that saved me from getting completely fried. They've got everything. Like I said, I bought my crispy boots there. They had 1,000 boxes of boots, to try out. It was an all-in-one stop. But the one thing they didn't have was a flat range to redo your sight tapes. Remember that. Be prepared. And what I did was I took my bows that I was like 80% with. I was like, I'll be good, right? I'll be okay. My shooting at 80% is pretty competent. But I learned quickly that the Total Archery Challenge is a challenge. It's a Total Archery Challenge. They're going to test your limits. They're going to make sure that you are uncomfortable in some courses quite a bit of the time and getting out of your comfort zone. And you're going to be surprised at how many shots you actually make. It's not impossible. I saw this 18-year-old absolutely smoking every target, and we saw a 13-year-old absolutely smoke the caribou that was like up the hill at 112 yards or whatever it is that got entered in for a truck. So there's all these things you can get entered in to win for. The courses are technical. They're fun. You're going to get exercise. Personally, I would recommend staying at the resort wherever you're at if you can, so you don't have to drive anywhere. So you can indulge and have a couple drinks with everybody and not worry about it. But there's always a bunch of places around. Honestly, it was the most fun I've had in a very, very long time. So much so that I came home, my wife was so tired of hearing me talk about it that she wanted to whip my ass in archery, and we went and got her a new bow. So I will be taking her out to Park City. Maybe she's going to be taking me out at Park City. She's going to probably show us how it's done. But we're going out to Park City, Utah. So if you guys are going to be out there, give me a shout. Let me know. We can hang out. I know there's always some people out there that are going to be shooting from your local area. People travel all over for this. You're going to make some great friends. That's what it's all about. That's what I was talking to Dudley about. That's what I was talking to everybody about. The community. There's such a community around archery and the Total Archery Challenge. It brings people together, and it helps you hang out with kindred spirits. It was amazing. It was nothing like I've ever experienced before. Maybe you go to like events like the Great American Outdoor Show, but even then it was great. But the Total Archery Challenge, everybody was there with the same purpose. Everybody was supportive. If you messed up a shot, I'd ask like, hey, can I shoot another one? Everybody's like, yeah, go for it. Or they'd spot you, the people that are waiting to shoot behind you, they'd spot for you, and you do the same. And it was just such a great community. I cannot say enough about the people that put on the Total Archery Challenge and the people that go. It's just such I keep saying community. It's such an awesome community that if you have an opportunity to go, go for it. I personally am good. I liked it so much. We're going to Park City this year. Next year, we're planning to go about 3 or 4 different places to go to them. But you won't regret it at all. In fact, if you only sign up for a day or 2, you wish you had signed up for 4. I did 3 and wish I had done 4. But by the end of it, you're pretty sore from all the hiking and everything else. But yeah, it's quite an experience. And like I said, if you guys are going to go to Park City, Utah, let me know. I'll be there. With the family, we're going to be filming too. I know a couple friends that are going to be out there as well. We're going to be meeting up with them and doing some videos. But if you are going to be out there, hit me up. Give me a shout. Let's do some shooting. We can hang out, take pictures, drink some beers out there. It's going to be a great time. And like I said, if you like this content or you want to see something else, we have tips. If you want to see reviews on products, bows, etc., let me know. Like and subscribe and leave a comment. I want to know what you think. Give me your input, and I'll improve these videos as I can. All right. All right, guys. Well, if you have any more questions, let me know, and hope to see you guys in Park City. All right. Take care. Have fun.